Why study Islam? Is it really worth it? Well, obviously, if you've chosen to attend this course, you've already formulated your own answer to that question. But let me just try and list some reasons, just in case, for instance, you have kids who are not particularly motivated to study it. The most obvious reason is that Islam is quite simply a major fact of world history. In fact, although it's not sufficiently acknowledged, between, say, the 8th and the 16th century, Islam was the dominant civilization on the planet. Dominant in the sense of its demography, of its economic prowess, of its cultural productivity, and also of its universal character. China and India obviously also developed great civilizations at that time, but they were limited within a particular geographical area, whereas Islam was a great sprawling civilization. Christendom, for that period, was confined essentially to the small European appendage to the Old World, while Islam's political orbit embraced a truly gigantic swathe of the planet. Half of Africa, the Middle East, the Indian Ocean, India itself, Central Asia, and Indonesia. Islam, in short, was the great success story of the Middle Ages. Christians, when they interacted with Muslims politically, invariably found themselves up against more powerful, very redoubtable, often palpably and embarrassingly more civilized Muslim neighbors. From Christian Europe, if you went south, you would come to Muslim Spain, whose population in the 11th century was actually greater than all of Christian Europe put together. The biggest city in Europe was Cordoba, under the Muslims, which had over 1 million inhabitants, at a time when the largest Christian city in Europe, Paris, had barely 60,000. To the southeast of Europe, there was, of course, the Middle East itself, and in due season, the very alarming Ottoman presence in the Balkans. It's easy to forget that only 300 years ago, the city of Budapest was a flourishing Muslim city. To the east, where nowadays one generally encounters parts of Russia, there were again powerful, flourishing Muslim states, those referred to by European historians as the Tatar Khanates, the Volga Bulgars, and the Golden Horde. And again, these were far more flourishing in their civilization than their Christian neighbors. Moscow was a fairly small city. Kazan, the great Muslim city on the Volga, was a great center of culture, civilization, etc. So Christendom was more or less encircled, and the only way it could go, of course, was west, which is one reason, of course, why it did just that. So that's one reason why Islam is certainly worth studying. It's of more historical importance to Europeans and to Christians than is any other civilization.